There we go. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Temecula Community Services Commission meeting. It is June 10th, 2024 at 6 o'clock p.m. We're calling this meeting to order. First up for our meeting tonight, we will have the flag salute. This will be led by Vice Chair Dr. Yuan Hawks.
Please stand and put your hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Hawks. Next up, we have our commission roll call, and we have back with us tonight for a one-night visit, I understand, is our tonight's commission secretary, Tracy Tominas.
Thank you. I'll go ahead with the roll call. Commissioner Castro?
Here.
Commissioner Sizemore?
Present.
Vice Chair Hawks?
Here.
Chair Kingsburg?
Here.
All right, all present with the exception of Commissioner Audi. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tracy. So we are actually going to go ahead and pitch it back to Tracy. She is going to share a presentation with us on special events in Temecula Community Services Department for the summer. So we look forward to hearing about that, Tracy. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, so this summer we're going to be hosting our annual summer concert series. They're relocated to the Civic Center Quad. So our first one will be taking place next Thursday on June 20th and then the 27th. Then in July we will have 3. So some of the concert lineup includes a Beatles tribute, a Journey tribute, and a little bit of everything in between with some pop, some soul. So good variety for everyone, and those will be on Thursdays from 7 to 8:30 p.m. And then, of course, we have the annual 4th of July celebration, which will begin with the parade in the morning in Old Town, and then the extravaganza at Ronald Reagan Sports Park, which will have festivities from 2 to 10 p.m., and the fireworks show at 9 p.m. sharp. In August, we will be celebrating National Night Out, which is a chance to recognize our first responders, specifically our Riverside Sheriff's Department, but we're usually joined by special guests from California Highway Patrol and the CAL FIRE. Then on September 7th, we'll be hosting the National Preparedness Fair, which is once again another chance to meet your first responders, but also learn about different ways to be prepared, whether it's preparing for natural disasters or, knowing how to handle your animals during a case of emergency. So that'll be here in front of City Hall as well. And then September 11th Remembrance will be on Wednesday, September 11th at the Temecula Duck Pond. And I'll also be going into a few more of our fall and winter events to carry us through the year. So on September 14th, we will be hosting Cartoonapalooza featuring Art Fest. Then the College Fair on September 21st at the Promenade Mall. This will be our second year back in person, which was very well attended last year. The Fit Fun Color Run on September 22nd at Ronald Reagan Sports Park. And then rounding out the month of September will be the annual Health and Community Resource Fair here at City Hall on September 28th. In October, we will be having our second annual Temecula History Day. So this one will be on October 12th. In lieu of the traditional Culture Day event, we will be celebrating Temecula at Sam Hicks Monument Park. Then one of my favorites will be the Halloween Carnival on Friday, October 25th. And to celebrate Veterans Day on Monday, November 11th, we will have the Patriotic Salute to Veterans Day, which will be a symphony concert. In December, we will start off the festivities with the Christmas tree lighting on Monday, December 2nd at the Temecula Duck Pond, followed by Santa's Electric Light Parade on Friday, December 6th. And to finish out the year will be the New Year's Eve Grape Drop on December 31st. It's a Tuesday this year. And now I'm available if you have any questions or comments about any of the events.
All right, well, thank you so much for sharing all that. It looks like we'll be a robust summer to fall to early feel it's like winter when you start getting into those holiday activities, but I guess winter won't officially have hit yet. So we'll call it summer and fall activities. Let's see if the commissioners have anything they'd like to add, either in the form of a question or comment. Commissioner Sizemore.
Thank you, Chair Kingsburg. Tracy, I do have a couple of questions that I wanted to ask. Starting with the summer concert series, I'm just questioning why the move from the amphitheater.
Yeah, so at the amphitheater, although it's been a classic location for years, after much discussion with the Riverside Sheriff's Department and also fire, for the number of people who attend the concert at the amphitheater, the Civic Center is a better choice for safety. And although at first glance people may not think that we can accommodate as many people, we definitely can, and it's more in a safer space. It's open rather than being constrained by the amphitheater. And also just over the years of the attendance at the amphitheater, sometimes we have children who during the event they may get a little bored sitting there and they start climbing into the hillside of the amphitheater. So that's just, all of those have just kind of raised some safety concerns for us. We feel the Civic Center will be better suited for that event.
Okay, just questioning too on the summer concerts. Do we have less this summer than we typically do?
We usually, depending on the way the calendar falls, will have between 5 to 7. We used to start earlier in June, but then we
Yeah.
realized with high school graduation, that's always kind of limited our attendance. So just with the way the calendar falls, we're doing 5. So I think
Okay.
last year we did about 5, might have been 6. So
Are
something
we
we'll-
still gonna have room for dancing?
Yes, we still designate an area for the dance floor right in front of the Civic Center or the front steps. So we'll put up some posts, that way people have a set area where they can begin setting up their chairs. That way we have that dance area.
Okay, thank you. That answers one of my questions. The other thing I wanted to ask was, I wanted to mention I'm happy to see the Cartoonapalooza become the main number for that event, because that seemed to be very well attended last year and what really drove people to that event. I wanted to ask a question on our 4th of July parade.
Yes.
It was mentioned by commissioners last year after the parade that the parade had a very political kind of feel. Are we doing anything different this year, especially being an election year, to kind of make sure that that isn't the feel that our residents get?
Yes, we have updated our parade guidelines and they've been reviewed by the city attorney. So it's very clear that it's limited on political signs and campaign signage, so we will make sure anyone who is a political figure, we will be monitoring their signs. We'll also be working closely with our code enforcement. That way, they have a copy of the guidelines as well, and while we're in the staging area, they can walk around with our community services staff to make sure that no one has more signs than they're allowed per the guidelines.
Okay, thank you.
Additionally, if I remember right, Tracy, also we won't be having strictly political entries.
Correct.
The entries have to be aligned with the theme of the event,
Okay.
and not just for the parade, but for all of our events going forward. So the only political figures who will be in the parade are those who are elected officials.
Okay.
So our council members, our assembly persons, our supervisors, any supervisor. So
Okay.
it does kind of limit that as well.
Okay, and then one of the issues, I wouldn't call it an issue, a situation that we had last year was that one of the entries that was an official had some loud music, and it made it hard to hear and talk over. So if we could just kind of make sure that we take into consideration that our participants know not to be too loud.
Yes, we will definitely add that to our list. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Sizemore. Commissioner Castro.
I don't have any questions, but it's like a great schedule of events. It's like you're going to be busy, and I'm looking forward to driving the golf cart in the parade. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Vice Chair Hawks.
Thank you, Tracy. Welcome back. Good to see you. I have the same question, so thank you for answering that with the location. Just one comment I have, I understand that we also have the summer sunset market going alongside with the concert, so I really like that idea. Hopefully that'll boost more visitors to those markets. And my question is, I know TEDx use a theater, right? So somebody asked me, the organizer, that is there a way for them to, or who to contact to put their banners along the city or town they want to promote that? Is that a possibility, or is there a point person you can direct to?
So TEDx is one of our co-sponsored events, so they could reach out to myself or Dawn Adamiak. She handles the co-sponsorship agreement, and there is a part in there where we do allow for some advertisement. So in the past, we've posted one of our Breezeway posters to promote TEDx, so it's something that we can reach out to them to see, just because depending on the location they're looking at, there may be some limitations, but it's definitely something we can look into with the organizer.
Okay, then we'll refer him to you.
Okay, thank you.
And the last question about the parade entry, is there is a window for the different groups to apply, and then is there an entry fee, then there is a process of selecting, or how that works?
Yes, so we are still accepting applications. We'll be accepting applications online until the end of this week. There is a fee based on the type of entry, so we start at $25 for a nonprofit, $75 for a commercial business, and $35 for a general entry, so kind of everything in between. So once they apply, they fill out a description of their entry, whether it's a scout troop or a local business, give a description of what type of entry it is, if it's going to be marchers or vehicles, and then from there we review the application and we'll email them if they've been accepted, and then from there relay all the important information. So if you know anyone who's interested, like I said, we'll be closing that on June 15th, so there's still a little bit of time to apply.
Okay, thank you for that information.
All right, thank you, Vice Chair Hawks. Yeah, I didn't really have any questions, and then I looked again, and you guys started sharing things, and something came up, so we'll talk a little more parade. I guess my question is, I remember last year, when we broke the parade down, I do remember this discussion, about some of the political entries, and I think as commissioners, it seems like we appreciate you guys clarifying all that, for us, but more importantly for the public. The other thing that I recall last year was we had a review of the parade, and there was discussion about, attendance being down. And there was also, I think it was shared by our director and superintendent perhaps, that, based on when the parade lands, when it lands midweek, that can sort of have an impact on it. And then I see that the 4th is on a Thursday this year. So I guess my question is, knowing that there was a political presence last year, and attendance was down, I know you guys will do everything you can, and hopefully the feel out there will be good, but hopefully we can get that attendance to bounce back.
Yes, I'm hoping so. Based on the parade entries, it has been a little light compared to past years. And what we've noticed is also with a Thursday parade, or a Thursday 4th of July, some people are making it an early weekend, so I wouldn't be too surprised if it is a similar attendance level as last year, but as you mentioned, we're still gonna make sure that it's still a fun and patriotic parade rather than filled by too many political entries. So at least it'll be a feel-good event, even if attendance is slightly low. Sounds
good. And I know in December, the Santa's Electric Light Parade was highly attended, and it seemed like it was an improvement over the last year. So we'll stay hopeful, and again, whoever gets out there, it sounds like it'll be a fun event, and they'll enjoy it. I had one other question in relation to the Veterans Day concert. That's on Monday, November 11th. I did attend last year. I know, is it going to be out in front of Civic Center again?
Yes, we still host the Veterans Day concert in front of City Hall since we have the military banner presentation to go along with it. So that one will stay here.
Okay. And kind of just thinking calendar-wise, I know it is a federal holiday, but are we gonna meet here and then shoot down to the for the concert, or?
No, we will be issuing a formal cancellation notice for the month of November, so don't worry about that.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay, next on our agenda is the opportunity for public comments. Do we have any public comments tonight, Tracy?
No, we do not.
Okay, no public comments tonight, so we will move on from that. That takes us to our division reports, and we have two fine individuals that will share those with us tonight. We appreciate you guys being here. First off, in regards to recreation, first up, we are going to hear from Andrea Formentera. So thank you, Andrew, and fire away when you're ready.
Good evening, Community Services Commission. My name is Andrew Formentera, and I am the Community Services Assistant in the Sports Division. I will be giving you all the first portion of our recap of what our TCSD department has been up to for the month of May. The Aquatics Division celebrated National Water Safety Month by participating in the Old Navy's Super Safety event. They also hosted the Tuquets District of the California Inland Empire Council, Boy Scouts of America, in conducting their swim classification for about 25% of the district's troop-level scouts. Aquatics activities for the month of May included Summer Public Swim, Family Night Swim, and Special Needs Family Night. First Five Riverside and the American Red Cross Centennial Program have provided swim lesson scholarships. Applications are open and available at temeculaca.gov/swim. The month of May also saw the aquatics team training and refining their skills in CPR, AED, emergency action plans, spinal motion restriction, and drowning prevention. The month of May was a very busy one for the Contract Classes Division. More than 6,000 total participants were able to enjoy the many different classes offered in the city. As you can see, there were over 324 classes that were being offered to the community. These areas of classes offered included preschool kinder enrichment, youth and teen enrichment, performing arts, senior classes, sports and fitness, special interests, and visual arts. Just a few examples of the classes offered were Hawaiian Tahitian dance, Young Chefs and Bakers, Bigfoot's cartooning class, Miss Michelle's Tiny Tots, basketball skills, and so much more. CRC staff were hard at work, excited for and planning for summer activities, which also included summer day camp. Campers will be kept engaged with activities such as crafts, games, and excursions, keeping them excited for each new week. May was also an eventful month for the Community Recreation Center and their teen room activities. The teens enjoyed cooking, playing games, and making crafts. The teens also enjoyed the Teen Zone Luau, which happened on May 8th. The luau included a shaved ice station and creating ocean cups while playing games. The Scooter Jam was a great success with 22 participants on Saturday, May the 11th. The scooter community enjoyed music, refreshments, and prize giveaways with local favorite Jeff Waddleton emceeing the activities. The event was for the participants ages 17 and under and was partnered with the action sports advocacy group Neighborhood Drop-In. The next event will be the Bike Jam Summer Kickoff, which will happen on June 8th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., so don't forget to mark your calendars. The homeless outreach team have been working tirelessly to assist the community in the month of May. 19 street exits have been totaled for May, bringing the year-to-date total to 81 street exits. As you can see, the month of May saw some great successes. A few examples include on Friday, May 3rd, a well-known SWAG client was reunified with her family. On May 7th, a client visited the Temecula Resource Center for Mental Health Resources, and with the help of SWAG, the client was connected to Jackson House to address her mental health needs. On May 14th, a SWAG client was connected to the Arlington Recovery Center in Riverside for their stabilization program. On May 15th, a new elderly SWAG client was connected to the SWAG Ranch for emergency shelter services while waiting for a connection to a room and board through Adult Protective Services. And an update on this client, on May 28th, APS has connected this client to a room and board in Moreno Valley. And on May 17th, a client received a psychiatric clearance and proper prescription medication after being connected to telecare to address a mental crisis. Moving on over to the library, the month of May has seen a total door count of 19,733 and a total of 49,158 items in circulation. Library staff hosted in-person programs which included T-Rex Tea Party, story times, free comic book day, string art, and bracelet weaving. New displays at the library for May included Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month and Jewish American Heritage Month. Be sure to check out the upcoming program Wild Wonders, Our Big Backyard, which will happen on Wednesday, June 19th at 10:30 a.m. The rentals division was busy renting out many of our available spaces throughout the city. Around 180 patrons utilized the conference center, 850 patrons utilized the community recreation center, 450 patrons used the rental space in the Temecula Community Center, 295 patrons used the RHR Temecula Library rental space, 2,300 patrons utilized the picnic shelters, and roughly 774 patrons utilized the Welcome Center for information and resources. Here's a small recap of some of the special events for the month of May. The special events team successfully hosted a variety of events that included the Temecula Culture Fest on May 18th, which included around 2,000 patrons, the Santa Gertrudis Creek Trail groundbreaking on May 23rd, and Tribute to Heroes Memorial Day concert on May 25th, which saw 400 attendees. Looking ahead at special events in the near future, the summer concert series will take place on June 20th and 27th at the new Civic Center Quad location. Moving to the sports division, the local Recognized Youth Soccer League concluded their spring season, and the local Recognized Youth Baseball and Softball Leagues are currently in their all-star portion of the season. The city-run Adult Basketball League have now concluded their winter-spring season, and registration for the summer-fall season begins on June 5th. The city's adult softball and kickball leagues began playoffs at the end of May, with the season conclusion in June. Registration for the summer-fall seasons will begin on June 4th. Rental groups are at full capacity for fields and hockey rinks. The north-south fields ADA and dugout renovations are now completed. And looking forward to June, the highly anticipated pickleball complex begins construction on June 17th. June is a full month of weekend baseball and softball tournaments, which include Just Wanna Play Ball, TVGSA Youth Softball, and Triple Crown Sports Youth Softball. And this concludes the first section of our report, and we are available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it. Lots of good information and successes. Okay, we'll give commissioners a chance to make comments or ask questions. We will start with Commissioner Castro.
Thank you for the report, and I like your shirt. That was very informative, thank you. One of the things I always found that helps is if you can explain your impact you're having with your programs. And I think one of the most impactful programs from when I talk to people in the community is the summer day camp. Is there a social media campaign plan for that, a video or anything like that?
So summer day camp is a somewhat contentious topic because we sold out of all spots within 5 minutes of registration opening. So this year and last year, we intentionally didn't promote it and that was with zero promotion.
Yeah.
So essentially, summer day camp functions as a day camp or a daycare for working families of school-age children during the summers. It is deeply subsidized. We haven't raised the prices in, I think, since '95 or something. It's insane. Side note, we are going to be revisiting the fees for all of our programs next year, including summer day camp. But in the meantime, the feedback we've gotten is it's a top quality program. We do an extraordinary amount of stuff, and we charge less than Boys and Girls Club does. And they offer a lot less in terms of activities and excursions. So the short answer is we would love to promote it. It is very impactful, but because it is so impacted, we don't, because a lot of people are very upset that they don't get in every summer.
Thank you.
Yes, and the part two to that, which I'm sure Cass can speak to as well, is this year we've expanded our summer camp programming for a separate, it's not the same program, but a separate time frame program at the MRC called Camp SOAR, which Cass will speak to as well.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That's all I have.
Commissioner Sizemore?
Thank you, Chair Kingsburg. Thank you for that very thorough report. It's a pleasure to have you here with us tonight, Andrew. A couple of comments I wanted to make. One of my hats I wear is the District Committee Chair for Talkwood Scouting District for Boy Scouts of America. And so I do want to thank you guys for providing the pool facilities to enable us to do those swim tests. That's going to greatly enable our scouts to be able to go to summer camp. And they say that a year's worth of scouting is equivalent to a week at summer camp. So they're going to have a great time, and thanks for making that possible. I wanted to just commend you. I'm very thankful to see that you guys do make it a priority to provide sports fields for our adult leagues. I think it's important for us to make sure that we have opportunities for recreation for all of our residents, regardless of age. I wanted to ask, are we having a groundbreaking for the pickleball courts? Because I just kind of feel like it's been a long way coming, and there's been so much that we need to go out there and break ground or throw pickles in the air, or do something.
At this point, we are not planning on a groundbreaking, but we will have a massive ribbon cutting and grand opening.
I'm sure it will be massive. Hopefully, we'll get some parking passes, because it'll probably be full for that. I do want to say, looking at the reports on the library, I'm glad to see that we are continuing the strong tradition that we have of having very engaging and fun summer reading programs and the presentations. That was always a highlight for my kids, and once they were old enough, they all volunteered at the library for the summer reading program. So I'm glad that that's continuing to be a tradition in our community.
I'm glad you brought that up. I will actually be speaking to that tomorrow in my council slide.
Okay, good.
So it's such a good program, and my kids went through it too when they were little, and now they do it for all ages. They've expanded summer reading is for all ages up through adults. So it's an excellent program.
It's an excellent program, and that's one of the things that's always been important to me, is to maintain those traditions. And I think that's one of those traditions that I'm glad that the next generation of kids, our grandbabies, could be going to it.
There we go.
There you go. And I wanted to ask a couple of questions, because this section we covered the homeless outreach. I had a couple of questions I wanted to ask, if that's okay. When I was reviewing city manager's report on June 3rd, there was a mention of the week 520 to 523, that our homeless outreach, our year-to-date dangerous and healthy encampment cleanups was 41. How does that stand compared to other years? Is that an increase?
We have increased just about everything this year.
Okay.
Our number of street exits is also higher this year. Part of that is we're seeing more activity in our homeless activities. With the encampments, part of the reason why we're increasing our clearing rate is because we've actually contracted with a new company. Previously, we contracted with one main company and a secondary company that did cleanups of encampments, but they were really, their business model was really focused on like the large-scale commercial cleanups.
Okay.
And what we found was, to call them out for some of these small cleanups that we have that are very rapid turnaround, A, they couldn't get there very quickly because they're booking out weeks sometimes for these cleanups, and B, their fees were too high because their fees are scaled to do, some of the cleanups we had in the hillside over here for Altair, where we had, literal tons upon tons of trash being removed. So we found a new company that is smaller in scale. They focus on those small cleanups, and they can typically respond within 24 to 48 hours. So that's enabled us to hit more cleanups before they get big and established, while they're still small, which is it's a good approach to begin with, because then you kind of catch a problem before it gets out of hand. So hopefully that answers your question.
Okay. Yeah, because that was something that I have personally noticed in our being around town. I've noticed some increases.
Yes.
Especially, I'm going to say over by Armstrong.
Yes.
We've added some more clients in the buildings over there, which is good for my business, but that's not how I want to get my business. And, when I talk to the people as we're over there working, the employees are scared. They don't feel comfortable in their surroundings. And that concerns me, because that can have an overall effect on so many things in our city. Another comment that was in that report that stood out to me was that the homeless were refusing services and encampments were growing in size.
Yeah, so we're seeing an uptick in activity, and I think we've all seen it just as residents, you know, living in our city, walking around, shopping,
Yeah.
whatever we're doing, like, it's visibly obvious. There's an extent to which there's certain things where our hands are tied.
Yeah,
You know, we can offer services, we can encourage people to move on. If people refuse services over and over again, all we can do is enforce whatever ordinances are available, if that's trespassing ordinances, you know, public urination, anything like that. But it's very tricky. It's very, very tricky. The
Yeah.
other part of it, which you highlighted, was over at Armstrong's. That area behind there, the Empire Creek area, is private property. So
Oh.
that kind of undeveloped parcel right behind Armstrong's is privately owned.
okay.
And oftentimes it's tricky to get the private property owner to invest the money in clearing out debris, you know, whatever else is going on, particularly if they feel, well, I'm going to invest all this money, get this cleaned up, and it's going to be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So that's been an area where I know our team has been struggling. And, you know, our team in community services works closely with the core team for RSO, you know, the deputies. And then they also work closely with code enforcement, where code should be helping us with the private property and
Okay.
applying some pressure on that
to
side.
give them the incentive to.
Yeah, telling the
wanna clean
private
it up.
property owners, hey, you can be cited. You know, the same
Okay.
way for weed abatement. If you have trash on your property you're not cleaning up, you can be cited for that. So it's a concerted effort, but you're absolutely right, it's a growing problem.
Well, and I couldn't pinpoint this morning when I went back through city manager reports, but there was one report where it referenced Santa Gertrudis Trail and some cleanup. And so I wanted to question on, I know we've talked about it before, what efforts are being made, because it has become something where I'm uncomfortable to ride my bike on it now without my husband with me. And it's such a beneficial thing to our community to have that. I hope more people will realize that they can get an e-bike and use that to circumvent the city and get around traffic. Especially when you're in the empty nesting years like we'll be, and you don't have to have 3 kids in your car. And so I would hate to see this good thing that we've invested money in that can be a good thing for our community not get used and then become an eyesore, become a problem, and discontinued.
Yeah, we are continuing to increase patrols. We have our park attendants are patrolling that area. Core is aware. The closure of the Creek Trail for the construction along the I-15 has not helped.
I bet.
Because that decreases, you know, just activity
Yeah.
and visibility. There again, too, we also run into, you know, if somebody's, say, sleeping on the trail, you know, we can certainly, they can be approached and say, hey, you can't sleep here, and they can move on. But if somebody's just hanging out,
Yeah,
sometimes people look in a way or appear in a way that makes some of us feel like less comfortable, but they're not necessarily breaking any laws.
they're not breaking the laws, but I think there's the point of view, the concept that, the perspective that if you're hanging out down there where it's dark and nobody is, you're usually not doing something good.
Yeah, we did have one, a couple that, one of the businesses that backs up to the Creek Trail, just if you're facing Taco Bell, it's a couple doors to the right, had actually provided a structure on the back of their property, like a shed along the Creek Trail, to allow a couple of the individuals who were transient in that area to store their belongings.
Okay,
And they told the property owner they just needed a place to store their belongings so that they could get jobs. And, you know, we knew through various contacts with law enforcement that that is not on their agenda for the day. And there was a lot of drug use and some other activities going on. So we actually worked with the property owner and kind of explained, like, you've sort of worsened the problem here. Also, the shed was unpermitted, so from a code enforcement
Yeah.
standpoint, they were able to circle back and say, this shed is unpermitted, you have to take it down. So sometimes the private property owners or the business owners unintentionally can kind of
Yeah.
foster problems in a way that they think
well,
is helping
I
the
will
problem.
say the
you know?
medical complex right next to that is one of my clients.
Oh, no kidding.
And they've actually had windows in the back broken in and attempted
They're next to the
break-ins.
pharmacy.
Yes.
So sorry to derail this entire meeting for a moment here, and I apologize, but this is a topic that affects probably everyone in this room. Yes, the pharmacy had actually been broken into where they were breaking into the medical office next door and then going through the wall to get into the pharmacy at one point to break into the pharmacy. So that's been an entire thing.
Yeah.
But law enforcement is very aware of it, and
Okay.
they've been really watching that site.
Yeah, I just I don't want to see crime issues.
Totally.
None of us do.
Yeah.
None of us do. But that was something I wanted to ask about.
Yes,
Right.
thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sizemore.
Okay, Vice Chair Hawks, please.
Thank you, Andrew. And I have a question about the Tribute to Heroes. I was there at the concert. I really enjoyed the music and also moving it into the indoor theater this time. I want to know what's the capacity of the theater?
The theater holds 354 attendees in seats.
Okay. So when I was there, feels like I looked around, probably it's half seated. I know it was advertised as a sold-out event, and I also talked to the board president, Susan, and I think we kind of discussed one solution will be maybe half an hour before the concert that all the whole ticket can be released and to whoever comes. So those, maybe you can tell them on the waiting list, but it's highly likely that if they show up half an hour early, they can get a ticket. So that way that we can have all the seats taken. But it's really a great event. I enjoyed because I used to go to the outdoors and music with the sound, with the wind. Sometimes it's blowing. It's harder for the musicians too, and it's indoor. So it'll be nice to have full capacity there.
Yes, we definitely will continue to have the Memorial Day concert held at the theater between the theater staff and the symphony. They all liked being back at that location, and we will be working with the theater staff to ensure that we have a full house next year. So we definitely don't want to have those seats go to waste.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Hawks. I have a few things, and a couple of them kind of came up from things you guys shared. First thing is, as far as what the classes and what we offer, and again, over 6,000 participants. I mean, I'm just thinking about this. If someone says they're bored in Temecula, hey man, take a class. I mean, come on. And beyond that doesn't even cover all the activities and performances and everything else. But I'm just so impressed with the scope of what we offer. And I know we're into swim season. My next item, I know we're into swim season, so obviously that's a highlight, getting into the public swim and the pools being open. I'm just kind of curious. I mean, I know there's some serious swimmers out there who've used the pools for those sort of things. I know Commissioner Audi shared at one point he was doing that. What have we seen, like, as far as any kind of trend, if there's been one? Has demand continued to go up or been steady for pool use, or has it potentially dropped? I doubt it, but kind of curious.
Our pool use generally fills up whatever slots we have. So when we have swim lessons always fill. Most of our swim lessons will have wait lists. Our adult activities, like the water aerobics, that kind of class, they generally fill up. Public swim, lap swim generally fill. So we're pretty much at capacity.
Good.
Unfortunately, we're losing the Temecula Elementary School pool. It's not in a safe condition for us to use this summer, and we found out sort of at the 11th hour. So our team, Gwen and her team, and Tracy Masters and her team did an amazing job literally overnight, because registration, we found out like on a Thursday afternoon and registration was opening on a Monday. And so over the course of like 2 days, they canceled everything at Temecula Elementary School and moved everything that they could to the MRC, and then canceled what they needed to at the MRC to make room for it. So, oops. So yeah, all of our swim stuff is pretty impacted.
Okay, makes sense. I would expect that, but good to hear. Good to see our resources are being used. Yeah, and I know some of Commissioner Sizemore's comments and your comments as well, Erica. Yeah, the homeless thing is it's tough. I mean, I know we need to stay on it and do the best we can. I trust everyone is. I mean, I guess for me, I just want to remind everyone that homelessness is a regional issue. It's a statewide issue. I mean, the news I read speaks to homelessness on an ongoing, manner. So, that being said, I mean, we don't put our head in the sand and ignore it, and we haven't. But I think obviously also with the economic struggles, more people are struggling with the economy, and that's kind of been ongoing, with inflation. I'm imagining there's a new pool of people that may fall into that situation. And then it was interesting hearing you talk about the trail, Mr. Sizemore, because I've kind of stayed away from that area on my bike just because I feel like I know there's some closures, it's going to be chopped up. But the one or two times I have been over there, yeah, I did notice, a little more of a homeless presence. But then I want to say that I imagine the landscape and the potential shelter that trail provides, it's probably, a magnet for the homeless. And so doesn't make it easy. And I trust our team will stay with the challenges, addressing the challenges, because when I saw that 19 street exits and then I saw the variety of resources and the different interventions that were done, I said, hey, those are, success stories. So I think we want to continue to, celebrate or acknowledge those as well. But I appreciate you guys bringing that issue up. Other than that, excited to hear about the pickleball complex. I'm headed over to my Monday night ladder here after this meeting, and we'll have some makeshift courts. There was last week was the first class for June, and there were around 35 people there, which is more than the 4 courts that currently exist. So I think it's going to be very welcomed, and we'll look forward to a big groundbreaking with that. And then also I wanted to tag into the concert. I wrote down Tribute to Heroes. I don't know if that was actually the name of it. I think you'd mentioned that. Okay, good. I have it right then. Yeah, I kind of noticed what Commissioner Hawks had mentioned. The other thing I wanted to share too, or at least kind of get clarification on, because I know it's not the same event as the Veterans Day concert. They're different events. And you mentioned the military banner program, which stood out to me as something that was different. But there definitely seemed to be more of a city presence at the Veterans Day event, at least compared to the event a couple of Saturdays ago. And so, I mean, I enjoyed it, and my wife enjoyed it. She came with me, and Dr. Hawks was there with her husband and children, and they seemed to enjoy it. And I think Commissioner Hagel, Chair Hagel from the Planning Commission was there, and I saw Commissioner Faulkner at the end, but I see him everywhere. So he was milling around. There could have been some other people there I didn't see. But that being said, we were invited, which I appreciated. Yet normally when we get invites to things, there's a little bit more formality with an event, and I'm not sure we had to be introduced, but I felt like, just being honest, I felt like a little something was missing at the beginning, and that Susan from the orchestra just sort of opened it up and started, and I figured with the change to the inside, maybe someone from the city would. And again, I just wanted to share that I know staff needs, their time off too. They can't work 7 days a week, 30 days a month, and I know you guys do a heck of a lot, but I was going to say, as a commissioner, particularly as a chair, I would have been more than happy to say a few words if asked. So just wanted to offer that support. So I don't know if you guys want to comment back on that.
Yeah, that's definitely something we can consider to add for next year's event, and make sure that our staff is there and able to notice which commissioners are and dignitaries are in attendance. So we'll definitely add that for our notes for next year. So we appreciate the feedback.
All right. Thank you. Okay, that takes us to our consent calendar. And we have one item on, we have a comment. We have another report. My bad, Cassandra, I'm so sorry. Got so excited that we had gone through all that something must be done. No, we're not. Thank you. Okay. Well, we have Cassandra Ambrose here, who is going to give the Arts and Culture report. And thank you for being here, Cassandra. I look forward to seeing you down the line over at the Margarita Rec Center. I'll be helping out with the food services here coming up later in the month. So I look forward to seeing you more again. But thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you and good evening, Community Services Chairperson, Commissioners, and fellow staff. As you may know, my name is Cassandra Ambrose, and I'm the Community Services Coordinator within the Human Services Division. I have the honor of presenting the second half of the Community Services Commission report for you all tonight. So first up in the second half of tonight's report, we have community outreach, where in the month of May, they created and released 8 reels, 30 stories, and 18 promotional posts that had an impact of over 280,000 total reaches. In addition, they completed various projects, including the 30th episode of Park Adventures, highlighting the Harveston Lake and Harveston Community Parks, a veterans brochure that's uploaded to the city website, attending a social media strategy summit, and successful marketing via e-blasts and outreach booths. Moving on to arts and culture, they had 200 experiences in the month of May, including art nights with Thomas O'Keefe and the art gallery showcases displayed throughout various city facilities. At the Temecula Valley Museum, they had over 3,000 experiences, including a new TVM exhibit, The New Americans, which features portraits and interviews of immigrant experiences. Our curator's report features the Earl Stanley Gardner radio donation, and Out of the Archives featured a history artifacts presentation for Memorial Day with Jimmy Moore's ceremonial dress army uniform. Continuing with the Temecula Valley Museum, additional programming in May included the Arts and Crafts Bazaar at Sam Hicks Monument Park with over 30 vendors, and Temecula Culture Days celebrating Japan. This Culture Day included live taiko drumming by Shokenji Taiko, food by Soho Ramen, cultural games, and more. It was a great turnout with 600 guests in attendance. Lastly, with the Temecula Valley Museum, in the month of May, they unveiled the Temecula Art Mural project titled Mental Health Matters, created by Great Oak High School students, with May being designated as Mental Health Awareness Month. I know that I really love seeing all the talent that the Temecula youth have to share, and I hope you all do too. Now for the theater. In May, they had a total attendance of 3,327 people and a total outreach of over 16,000 with a variety of performances, including The Bard Goes to Broadway, Spring Fling, Anastasia, A Tribute to Heroes, and more. This slide outlines the attendance for the various performances and showcases some images from those performances as well. So you can see the Spring Fling and A Tribute to Heroes. And I don't know if it's FAIVA or if it's FIVA, but shows some nice photos from those performances. Moving on to the Merc, in the month of May, they continued with regular programming, including jazz, country, speakeasy, stand-up comedy, and more. They had 461 patrons in attendance over 13 different performances. Upcoming this summer with the TVM, they have Temecula Culture Day celebrating Thailand on Saturday, June 8th, a new museum exhibit called Aliento a Tequila from June 21st to August 11th, and a Temecula art mural unveil on Wednesday, July 10th, for World Honeybee Day. Now into inclusive services. In May, we closed out the year for the Youth Advisory Council. Students crafted college pennants in honor of College Decision Day, and on our last meeting of the year, we had a completion ceremony at round 1, where students enjoyed building community together. You should have seen them competing in Dance Dance Revolution. Yeah, we'll resume again in the fall when school is back in session. On Saturday, May 11th, we had one of Skip's favorite events of the year, which was the Skip Field Trip. This year, we went to the San Diego Children's Discovery Museum in Escondido, and children had a blast participating in crafts, learning about the resident tortoise, exploring the garden, building, creating, and experimenting all throughout the museum exhibits. And they also really enjoyed riding the Human Services Shuttle to and from the museum. It made it feel like a true field trip. May also brought another favorite event of the year with our High Hopes Kickball event. Participants had so much fun playing kickball together at Birdsall, and they especially loved playing against staff members and stealing bases. In May, we wrapped up the Inclusive Visual Arts Program Spring Session with a visual arts showcase where students finished any projects they were working on and got to display their work for friends and family to see as well. Moving into our senior services, the seniors are really loving the intergenerational community garden. They enjoy being out in the sunshine together and participating in garden projects such as making DIY natural fertilizers, rock painting, and learning about and implementing composting. The free health screening of the month was for peripheral arterial disease, and 27 seniors participated in the screening. We celebrated our May birthdays with 56 seniors in attendance, and everyone enjoyed goodies shared by our sponsor for the birthdays, which was Alpha Care Medical Group. Continuing with senior services, seniors enjoyed arts and crafts, creating pop-out flower cards and gardening crafts with staff. They also benefited from the important information regarding medication adherence shared during our senior talk, but most of all, they loved the Mother's Day monthly event, which was full of joyous music from our MPSC choir, laughs, dancing, raffles, good eats, and lots of fellowship. Next up, we have workforce development. Our Youth Innovators Program had 3 meetings in May with about 20 students in attendance per meeting. They closed out the year at Temecula Lanes on May 29th and recognized their members' hard work and dedication throughout the school year. Youth Innovators assist with various things such as various programs and events, including youth entrepreneurs, Leadership Academy, STEM Summer Camp, and more. During the Junior STEM program, students learn the fundamentals of probability and statistics through presentations, demonstrations, and hands-on engaging activities. They had great outcomes from this program, including positive feedback and fostering interest in STEM among middle school students. Workforce development offers various internship and externship opportunities throughout the year, and they had 20 interns throughout community services, economic development, and emergency management, and 1 extern in viticulture. Now, before wrapping things up, I also wanted to mention that we will be hosting our first ever summer day camp called Camp SOAR Program at the Margarita Recreation Center. Sessions will begin this upcoming Monday, June 17th, and go through Friday, August 9th. Additionally, we will also have our summer food service program at both Rotary Park and the Margarita Recreation Center, beginning this upcoming Monday as well. The program will run also from June 17th through August 9th. And the summer meal program will be expanding at the MRC to be every day, Monday through Friday, from 12 to 1 p.m. But SFSP at Rotary Park will be on Mondays and Fridays from 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And that's all. This concludes our full report, and we are available to answer any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Cassandra, appreciate it. Lots of good information. Commissioners would like to make comment or ask a question, please do. We will start this time with Vice Chair Hawks.
Thank you. First, I want to say I really appreciate that seeing different staff member, and this goes to our Director Russo. I appreciate that you're training up the future leaders. I've been here almost 3 years. I'm still seeing new faces coming in, so that's really great. And second is I'm glad to see the museum participation continue to go up. I think it's 27% compared to last year. So this year I haven't been there too much, but last 2 years I go there very frequently, and really those are quality programs. So I'm glad to see that result. And now I have a question regarding the Youth Council, what's that, YAC? And also the Youth Innovators. How does this work? Does that, the high school students, they get credit for that?
So I can speak to the Youth Advisory Council. The Youth Advisory Council is a service-based program that we have within the city where high school students, local Temecula high school students, are able to gain civic leadership, volunteer experience, engage with the community. And it's during the school year. So it runs from September to May, typically. And so they get a lot of different experience throughout the year with different trainings and certifications. They often do like their food handler's license, CPR, service animal training, and a lot of various other professional development trainings as well with interview skills, public speaking, resume building, networking, But in addition to that, they also volunteer at a lot of events. So be that city events that we have with special events within our own Human Services Division, and just any other opportunities that we are aware of, we share those with them too. So they do get community service for attending the meetings and for all the programs and activities that they assist with.
So is that one group of students, they start the whole semester, or students are coming and going?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of both. Of course, when the school year starts, we do a lot of the main advertising for the Youth Advisory Council so that people are aware of it. We send out e-blasts to past members and usually do a social media post as well. And however, we don't limit it to them starting within the fall. If they want to join later, if they hear about it from their friends and it's January, we welcome them to submit their application and to join us for the rest of the year. We also have students who are very ambitious and are involved in a lot of different activities. So some of them might be involved in tennis or some other sport or music or theater, dance. And so sometimes they might have a busy season with school and then they're able to join us for the rest of the year, and we welcome and encourage that too.
Thank you. My son will be a high schooler this coming fall, so those are the options that maybe we will check it out.
Thank you.
And another question is regarding the senior center. The number I think I saw is 56. I'm wondering, after the renovation of the Phillips Center, is there an uptick in the numbers?
Yes, thank you. So we have been seeing a steady increase with our lunch participation, and our monthly events are always full as well. So we definitely don't have a decline in the number of seniors that we've been seeing at the Mary Phillips Senior Center. We welcome new seniors pretty regularly, and we also retain a lot of seniors that are there. So the lunchroom is starting to get a little more full these days.
So it's really good because the city invested in the renovations, and it's good to see that it's being utilized. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Hawks. We will go to Commissioner Sizemore.
Thank you, Chair Castro. Couple of comments. I want to say on our social media. Did I say something? Oh, I'm so sorry.
He's correcting people tonight. I need to be corrected for sure. Yours was a minor transgression. You're good.
I
You're fine.
apologize
You're
for my
fine.
transgressions.
You're good.
All right, I wanted to make a comment on our social media, on the reels. Okay, the dad jokes reel was like hilarious, and I don't know if it's just because I know Jeff Lawrence and Mike Wooten, but I thought that was hilarious. Again, you guys are just, you guys are doing such a good job in that area, so thank you. A comment from the state of the city, I was really glad to see our workforce development and internship programs highlighted as much as they were. I think it's something a lot of people aren't aware of that we have here in Temecula, and it is such a good service that we have, and you guys do a fantastic job with that. A line that I heard during that presentation that just stuck with me was, it takes a community to raise a community. So thank you for what you're doing there. And I'm looking forward to the mural this coming up in July, World Honeybee Day. I think I'm ready, but I totally have to get the little honeybee ears so that I'm prepared for that. Thank you.
Commissioner Sizemore, I'd like to just add kudos to the social media team. Given the increase to this month that you'll see at the end of the report, our total impact for the month of May in all areas of cultural arts, human services, 311,769 is a 40% increase from just last month.
Wow.
And it's
That's
a
fantastic.
67% increase year over year. So last May, our impact was 103,000. So you can
Wow.
see the impact of social media, creativity, and using in-house talent. So I
Well,
just want to thank the team.
Word of the year for 2023, your team has Riz.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Sizemore. Commissioner Castro.
Thank you for the report. I appreciate all the information. when talking about Culture Fest, I appreciate you guys putting up a tent for the commissioners. It was great to be able to spend time with the other commissioners. I was with Commissioner Faulkner, so I didn't get a word in edgewise while I was sitting there, but it was great to see the people coming up to the tent and asking questions. I think that was the only comment I had. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Castro. Just a few things at my end. I was able to be at the mural unveil in May, and I saw a nice photo of everyone there, so it was very nice. The Mental Health Matters theme. Really, again, appreciate our commitment to art, as I know others up here do. But that is a great ongoing program. Oh, I know, I wanted to give a shout out to Adam over at the museum. He didn't know I was going to do this, but he has sort of kind of taken on that program as far as helping organize that, and I think he's doing a good job, just making sure that's a successful event. And then also it was shared about the New Americans, and I appreciated Director Russo, I believe, viewed the last city council meeting, and I believe you spoke to it there. So thank you for that, because that motivated me to make sure I got over to see that, which I did last Saturday in combination with going to the Culture Day on Thailand. So that was a really nice Saturday morning, just a beautiful day out there on the museum grounds and grasses, just wonderful, and families seem to really be enjoying it. And I wanted to give props to that skip field trip down to the San Diego Children's Discovery Museum. That just looks awesome. I mean, what a great opportunity for that group of folks. And yeah, just hearing what you shared, Superintendent Barnett, about the year to year and the increase over time. I mean, again, I know I've said this before, but I mean, as a resident here, I appreciate the fact that I don't have to get on the freeways to go have a good time. I mean, it's you talk about quality of life, right? In QLMP, I mean, hey, when you can enjoy your local community and you have things really right at your footprint there, it's nice. So anyway, thank you again, Cassandra. I appreciate it, and I will not forget your report ever again. I guarantee it.
Thank you so
Okay?
much.
All right. Okay, now we have our consent calendar, right? And on our consent calendar, we have one item, and that is to approve the action minutes from our last meeting on May 13th, 2024. Can I get a motion and a second for that,
Motion to
please?
approve?
Motion by Commissioner Sizemore,
Second.
second by Commissioner Castro. Tracy, you want to take it from here?
Yes, we'll take a roll call vote. Commissioner Castro?
Aye.
Commissioner Sizemore?
Aye.
Vice Chair Hawks?
Aye.
Chair Kingsberg?
Aye.
And the motion is approved with the absence of Commissioner Audi. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tracy. All right, next up, we have our director's report. Director Russo.
Good evening, everyone. We've covered a lot in those division reports, so I just had a couple of items. Chair Kingsberg, I'm glad you brought up the Newest Americans. I was actually going to pitch that one more time for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. It moves out on June 16th. Really a moving installation, large format, gorgeous pictures of individuals on the day that they were sworn in as American citizens. And then there's a quote from each person who's featured. And some of them tell stories, some of them are just, very brief, but they're all just, it's so moving. And so really highly encourage everyone to take a look at that. And as many of you know, Isabel's not here this evening because she was on our sister city trip to Daisen, Japan. They got home today. Everyone got home safely, and I'm sure you'll be hearing from her next month. But it was, by all accounts, a great trip. Everyone seemed to really enjoy the opportunities they had to meet with our sister city delegation in Daisen, as well as they got a little bit of time to enjoy Kyoto as well. So looked like a very successful trip, and I'm sure we'll be hearing more about it when everyone's back and relaxed. And good luck to Mayor Stu and Councilmember Schwank tomorrow, because they're going to be up on the dais for a council meeting and probably still very, very jet lagged. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Okay, thank you, Director Russo, appreciate it. All right, next we will go to our commissioner reports, if commissioners would like to add anything else that has not been shared tonight, and we will start with Commissioner Sizemore.
Thank you, Chair Kingsburg. Thank you. I was able to cover most of my comments and questions that I had throughout our reports. I had one issue of concern I wanted to see if we could get Public Works to take a look at. My home park is Meadows Park, and our swings over there, we're missing one swing, and one swing is sounding like it's about ready to fall off, and there's some ground cover that's torn up that could be posing a tripping hazard. So I was kind of concerned with the kids being out for summer. We get a lot of action at that park with Paloma and Paseo del Sol. So if we could get a look at that.
Yes, we'll be sure to share that with Stacy Fox right away.
Thank you very much. Had a great time going to art night last week. We always enjoy that. It's such a fun event to go to. And I did want to thank, I have my mother-in-law out from Colorado Springs here tonight. She's, for a while, she was a pseudo Temecula resident because she came and would stay with us for several months at a time during family issues and when we were expecting babies. And she's been to a lot of Temecula events, so I'm thankful to have her here tonight. And, oh yeah, my husband's here too. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sizemore. Commissioner Castro.
Thank you. I was impressed with talked about the swimming pool, and, that kind of followed the theme where, like, for Easter, when it rained, and it was finding a way to adapt and overcome, and I really liked that, how the pool, you solved that problem so quickly. That was amazing. So thank you for that. I also saw in the patch today that the low-income housing, I don't think it falls under you guys, but I know that's something that you get asked about all the time. That opened, I guess, this week?
The one near the Duck Pond on Inez Road?
No, the one
Las
over
Bolsas?
on, by the DMV.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not our department, but
Not
we
your
do get a lot of, ultimately, all the new residents of Temecula become our residents, so,
Yes.
ultimately, we welcome everybody, and it is part of our service area.
And I'd be interested in hearing more about the food program, especially how it compared to last year and the number of people and all that in the future reports, if we can.
Definitely.
And I meant to ask this, I didn't know we wouldn't have a chance to ask you the question, but the boats at Harveston,
What about them?
I know we were trying to get a new vendor, and I didn't know what the latest was.
Oh, okay. So I asked cautiously just because it's been blowing up on social media.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
The Harvestonians are up in arms.
Harvestonian.
So essentially, our previous boat vendor, the contract expired at the end of the contract. We had done multiple renewals with him. And then at the end of the contract, we reached the end of our ability to renew, so we had to go out for an RFP. The previous boat vendor did not respond to that request for proposals. We did get 2 other responses. Our team, led by Mike Wooten and Stacy Fox, reviewed them, and they selected Pedalport, who's a boat vendor that has multiple locations throughout Southern California, based out of Big Bear, and they are moving the boats in right now. There's a bit of a kerfuffle, because the previous owner had, without consulting us, moved in these big pontoon-style boats with like awnings, and at first we were all very upset about it because he was supposed to talk to us and did not. But the people around the lake who used them ended up loving them. He moved out, he took the boats, as he should have, they were his. The new vendor doesn't have that style of boat, so people are extremely upset. There is a lot of chitter-chatter on Facebook about this. Pictures being posted, spleens being vented. It's all very, very upsetting. So the owners of Pedalport, very, very cooperative so far, and they said that they would be willing to go out and get a pontoon-style boat. So they should have it in by July 1st, probably sooner. In the meantime, their other pedal boats are the more traditional. You step down in them, there's the little pedals, and you zoom around the lake. So the upside being those smaller boats are much more affordable, which means the rates are lower. So it will be more accessible to people in that regard, and then the pontoon-style boat will be available for reservation, and that will be more accessible to anybody who needs a larger platform or has mobility issues. And so hopefully hopefully, once everything is up and running, and we are planning a little grand opening for the new service provider, hopefully, once everything's up and running by the end of the summer, everyone will just be thrilled to once again have pedal boats on the lake at Harveston.
I seem to be asking embarrassing questions this time. Should I ask about pickleball now?
Oh, go for it.
No, that's all I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Castro. We will go to Vice Chair Hawks.
I do enjoy those paddle boats on the Harveston Lake, yeah. Do you know the rates, the new rates?
Offhand, I don't, but we can get them to
Okay.
you.
Thank you. And also I want to share just that you mentioned about the newest American exhibit. I am an immigrant, and I remember the day that when I got my citizenship, I still kept the little flag, and I remember what I was wearing. It's a very emotional day. It's the largest auditorium that I've ever been. I forgot, 4,000 or 5,000 new citizens.
Wow. And where was that? Was that in Los Angeles?
Yes.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes. So I'm very proud to be a citizen here. And then regarding the report, I have a few items. I was at the Chamber of Commerce coffee mixer. I really enjoyed it. That was my first time there. I met one of the vendors the city used, Timmy. He does the music. He was there, and I was asked by some vendors, they're interested to know how can they be a vendor for the city. So is there people I can direct them to?
It depends on what they're vending, but if they're looking to be a vendor for an event, Tracy Tominez can provide the information.
Okay.
And if they're looking to respond to an RFP or something big, like a engineering firm providing
Not-
services,
Maybe just like a food or those kind of events.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
Tracy?
that would be Tracy.
Okay.
Yes, so anytime we're looking for vendors for an event, whether it's a food vendor or a craft or clothing vendor, we'll post an application online on the website. So we have a specific portion of the website, it's temeculaca.gov/vendors. So at the moment, we are not accepting any vendors. We typically post the application 3 months prior to an event. So some of the big events that we recruit vendors for throughout the year is like the Rod Run, 4th of July, Culture Fest, and Winter Fest. But anytime we have an opportunity, we'll post it there.
So is that I just ask them to, tell them to go check 3 months before the event to see if any opening?
Yes, and we'll post, like if we have a date already set for the next time we'll be posting an application, we'll include that information on there. So yeah, as long as they just kind of check the website every month or two, they'll be able to see updates. And then it's just a simple online application where they can fill out what items they're selling. And we'll usually, depending on the event, we'll list if we're looking for something particular, just because there's some events where we're looking more for food vendors, and then for the Rod Run, we prefer more car-related vendors, or if they sell like car-themed merchandise, things of that nature. But we make sure it's all clearly listed on the application.
Okay, thank you. And then I also went to the Summers Band. One evening, I was invited by that gentleman who came here about rugby. My kids went out for a trial. So I walked around. I'm really glad to see that all the fields were utilized by baseball, softball, and soccer. And so it was really nice to see that new park being utilized. And I enjoyed the state of the city. I was told that this was early, but actually that was supposed to be the time. The last couple of years was in August.
Yes, prior to that, they were always in May, and then
Okay.
after COVID, things kind of got out of whack, so we had an August one a couple of years, so now it's back to May.
Okay. And then I went to a city event that welcomed the delegation from Inner Mongolia, but actually they were Chinese. So the last minute, I was volunteered to translate for our mayor because they couldn't understand him.
Oh, wow, thank you for stepping in and doing that. We really appreciate
Yes.
that.
So that's thanks to my Toastmasters training that I was able to handle that. And afterwards, the staff thought that was prearranged. I said, no, that's just on the spot. And then last, I want to piggyback to what Chair Kingsburg said earlier about the recognize if there is an event that commissioners were present. Just like for myself, I've been to quite a few events we weren't introduced because I thought one of our roles is to represent the council when they cannot be at all the events that we can go. But so I'm not sure if there is a procedure, like, I don't mind to say, oh, I'm a commissioner, I'm here for this event, so maybe for the communities they know, or any of us there, we can say we're here, we represent the council, so the community, the public will know. A lot of times, I don't think they know who we are, we're there, unless we report back here, otherwise nobody knows.
Yes, that's definitely something we can look into for next year. This year, we were treating it more as a concert, which is why we didn't have a formal program, but it's definitely something we can look into adding for next year since we're making a few changes to the event.
Yeah, not just the concert, maybe some other event. I don't know what particular just off the top of my head, but some events, I know we were there, but like maybe it'll be better if we're acknowledged so the public sees, oh, there is a representation from the commission.
Sure, we can work into that, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Hawks. Yeah, in closing, I did mention a few things that I had attended, but I want to share a few others. Thank you, Commissioner Castro, for mentioning the Culture Fest on May 18th. I think I was there for the morning shift, and it was a good opportunity really to meet other commissioners who I don't always get a chance to interact with, so that was kind of nice. A couple new folks in the Ready Commission who I had a chance to meet, so that was great. And also went down to the Culture Day for May on Japan, which was very well attended. Obviously, a lot of folks in Old Town, and actually I made a note that I wanted to give you a shout out, Vice Chair Hawks, for your work. I was at that, I'll call it the Inter-Mongolian delegation, but the group that came and we were asked if we'd like to attend, and I thought, well, sure, that's good outreach, right? I mean, we should be at these things if we're available, and I happened to be available that morning, and a very nice presentation on Inner Mongolia and beautiful landscapes, and you did a great job acting as a translator, so I wanted to recognize you for that. Also, again, I know things are a little chopped up out there right now, so again, like I said, I'm kind of staying off the trail because I feel like I'm going to run into a closure if I go too far on a trail, but I was able to attend, and I was asked to speak on behalf of the commission at the Santa Gertrudis Creek Phase 2 Undercross groundbreaking on May 23rd, so glad to see that project is ongoing, and I think when things are done here in another year or so, boy, it's going to really be something. So really need to be a part of that. And then also, as was mentioned by Commissioner Sizemore and Vice Chair Hawks, I think all three of us were at the State of the City breakfast. I've had a chance to attend several of these over the years in my previous role with the school district and now as a commissioner. It's really an honor to be at that event. I appreciate the invites each and every year now, 2 years I've been a commissioner, to go to that. Just a really neat event to recap and celebrate all the great things going on. I thought the presentations were excellent. I mean, it feels like each year the multimedia presentation just gets better and better, and I want to give a shout out to Mayor Stewart. I thought he gave a great presentation. He did him. I mean, he was himself, I mean, and that's what you want to do, right? You need to be you, and it was great. I mean, it was down home, and he does a great job. So really proud to be a part of that and be a part of the city and see some folks I hadn't seen in a while. So anyway, thank you, everyone. Great meeting, lots of information, good recaps. A lot of great things going on, and some things we'll continue to work on. There's always room for continual improvement, and I'm sure we'll all move in that direction. So thank you, everyone. It is 7:19 p.m., 7:19. I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 7:19. And our next meeting is 4 weeks from tonight on Monday, July 8th, 2024, in these chambers at 6 o'clock p.m. And I trust we'll see you all hopefully at the 4th of July parade, if not before then. Good night, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Good